How are your stonks, everyone? It's me, Dr. Olivion, back at it again, with just talking because I'm lazy. But this time, it's actually going to be less lazy because the topic I've chosen might require a little bit more thinking. So, I've brought with me today a pretty snazzy guest, actually. He's just a bloke. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, introduce yourself.
Evening, lads. I'm legendary Topaz. You can just call me Topaz. And I'm now blushing a little bit from that sort of introduction.
Yes. Obviously. Whoa, we got legendary Topaz on our channel. What? The famous person that plays Minigame Mondays every fortnight. Go check him out. A link in description.
Woo, yeah.
So, Topaz here, he's very thoughtful, I'm gonna say. If you take a look at Ollie from episode 3, he says what is on his mind, and he ends all of his sentences with a word meme. But Topaz here, he's more of a think before you speak kind of guy, which I do appreciate. So hopefully this will be an intellectual kind of episode.
Hopefully. I still finish my sentences with memes sometimes, though.
So, without further ado, we're just gonna hop on. We're gonna start with the first question, as we always do. And that question is, well, the section is called Colouring In. The question is, what's your favourite colour?
Well, I'm glad you've asked. Okay. So, dark blue is sort of my general answer. It's been that for, I think, as long as I've known. I think I might have used to like red when I was very young, but dark blue. I can give you its hexadecimal code as well. The particular dark blue is hashtag 0C00BC. I'd say that's roughly the sort of dark blue I'm looking for. I'm not too exact about it. I've got a lot of time for purple, sort of, Cadbury Dairy Milk style. Red's also up there, and when I was younger, I would have told you that gold and silver just looked nice. But dark blue, that's me.
Sorry, have you memorised the hex code, or have you just got it up?
Well, I noted it down earlier.
Okay.
But yeah,
cool.
I'm not that.
I was gonna say, if you memorised your hex code, that's a GG.
Yeah, I'm not that neurotic yet.
I mean, yeah, dark blue is pretty respectable. It's just a nice colour to look at. I think, yeah, no, the ocean kind of, the deep ocean, the dark blue, that kind of dark blue, kind of very appealing to look at. And I think I've already gotten into the philosophy, the psychology of dark blue with Ollie, but he said it was a lighter blue. I think general rule is the darker your favourite colour is, the more sincere you are. I was gonna think of a synonym for edgy, but I don't think that's quite how that works.
No, I'll take sincere though. I'm running with that. That's good.
Yeah, no, I think most of us are sincere. I think the older you grow, the darker your favourite colour is. Except Kay, she can stay a child forever, but that's besides the point.
That is true. I mean, I heard some people say, blue's sort of to do with thinking and sort of deeper thinking. But then if Ollie gave it, then that can't be the case. So
Oh, I don't know how many episodes Kay has watched, but feel free to get angry at me, Kay. That was, I'm sorry. But yes, so on to the next subsection. Game. It's back, and I still haven't fixed the title, but that's okay, because it's just more of a meme, you know?
You can't improve on perfection.
Exactly. What's your favourite video game?
Now, I've got a lot of time for, the Stardew Valleys and the Brawlhalas and sort of that sort of different type of thing. But I think it has to be Minecraft without a shadow of a doubt. Just has to be. I've grew up with it. I've played it for a long time. I must have played it by far more than any of my other games. It is the freedom it provides the player to do whatever you want. There's so many different dimensions, the building, the redstone. Its freedom is what really appeals to me, and I just love it because I can fall in love with the world and a place, and I still play it now, and that is saying quite a lot for it. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, no, that's really respectable. Minecraft is a very good game, obviously, and I can see why it especially appeals to a lot of people. However, Minecraft, and as well as a lot of other sandbox games like Grand Theft Auto and Breath of the Wild and The Witcher 3, the stories is yours to make, which to a lot of people is a massive boon. They're really creative people, that they can do whatever they want, but as a not very creative person, I sort of struggle with that, and I kind of get bored. I think Minecraft less so, because as soon as you're stuck on some redstone or whatever, you can just go mining. When you're bored mining, you can go up, spend your resources on building. If you run out of inspiration to build, you can go fight the Ender Dragon. I don't know. It's got some very good replayability, I would say.
Oh yeah, massively, massively. I mean, and also just the community on YouTube. And obviously, when I was younger, it was more the Downty DMs and the Stampees, and now it's more the Hermit Crafts. But I just find there's such a resonance with it. Although I get the story thing, it has sort of a very loose kind of goal. But that's the thing, is people can mold stories into it. You can play maps, so that it is a beautiful sort of actualization of player autonomy. So yeah, I think it's really fun.
Yeah, I think if Roblox took more inspiration from Minecraft, then I'm not saying Roblox isn't successful, but I feel like Roblox would have taken off even more if it was Minecraft with more engines, I suppose. I believe the engine isn't actually that bad for Roblox, but I think, yeah, no, it could definitely be better.
Yeah, the engine's quite good, I've heard, for actually making different games. But the fundamental thing is, with, I think, customization of the actual character, your skin, you can pick the pixels, is very, very good. Because with Roblox, you are the same sort of almost Lego type figure. I think they made a mistake in doing that. But Roblox, I get it, but I think it definitely lacks something that Minecraft has. And also, I think Minecraft Java is really its home base, because the modding potential, and that's where I think everything really stems from. And the Caves and Cliffs update is coming soon. That looks so cool.
I don't think I've seen the trailer yet, but yeah, no.
I'll fill you in. Basically, caves, everything they should have been. Cliffs, they're not that great, to be honest. But they've added archaeology. They're going to have goats. It's ridiculous. You know how cool the Nether update was? It's like that, but it just hasn't confined itself to a dimension.
Oh, wow.
It hasn't up the overworld, but it's really, really extensive. It's amazing. Axolotls, it's not going to come out for a while, and that's understandable. But it's just that they're going places with the game, and they're trying to move it forward, and that's a good thing to do. The Minecraft's got a long future ahead of it if it keeps going like that.
Yes. Those of you that want to ask me, hey, Olivion, where's Pixelmon? You can be quiet about that, and it's coming out at some point.
That's exactly
I can promise you at least one episode by 2021.
That is exactly what all your fans. That is exactly what all your fans sound like. You've got them spot on.
But yeah, no, maybe. Anyway, the game I'm gonna talk about today is I had 4 episodes. Like I've talked about so many good games, but I don't actually know what else I can talk about. For now,
Mhm.
I can talk about. Let's go with some. Portal 2.
Oh, yes.
This is especially sort of sentimental to Topaz and I, because we did the co-op together. But I think, oh my god, it was so funny. All of the jokes really worked, and it's just a really fun game. It's a puzzle game, which might require some brain effort and whatever, but the puzzles are very fun, and you feel rewarded for figuring them out on your own. I think there was one puzzle Topaz and I were stuck on,
Yeah.
and eventually led on to us naming a chair and
Oh, yeah.
sending it places. I don't remember what he was. I think it was like Charlie the chair?
Charles, maybe?
Charles or Charlie, one of the two.
Charlie,
But
yeah.
he was a chair, and eventually, with enough sort of thinking, we managed to figure out a puzzle, and we felt so great about it. I think it's very rewarding.
Yeah, no, Portal 2 is brilliant. It's well written. It's a very dynamic game. It changed the whole, coupled with this Portal 1 as well, it changed the video game industry undeniably. It's just so enjoyable. I really like the aesthetic of it, the more in-depth story that you just have to pick up and work out, of like sort of, cave and such. And it's really, I really enjoyed it. And for me particularly, I watched a playthrough of it ages ago, years and years ago, with my brother on YouTube, and we sat together and we watched this guy play through it, and we really enjoyed it. So then finally actually getting to play through it myself all these years later, it felt amazing. I've forgotten most of the story, but it was just amazing to rediscover. And the mechanics, it's a very enjoyable game. And if you haven't played it, it's really up there on my recommended. Like, buy Minecraft, then it's like in the top 5 easily.
Yeah. I think one of the greatest things about it is that it's aged very well. It's 10 years old now, and its graphics still hold up to this day, I would say.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's still if that was to come out today, I'd recommend you play it. Because it is just so good. Like, it's ridiculously good. It's amazing. Valve just, they could have existed as a company to, like, forget Half-Life. They could have just turned up, done those 2 games, left, and I'd still be like, damn. But no, they are an amazing.
Half Sour leaves voice chat.
Yeah, Half Sour, obviously a big Valve fan. Yeah.
In particular, Half-Life 2 as well. So that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we're gonna move on to Olivion's option, and this is where the brains come in. We're gonna be discussing philosophy. Now, Topaz here is actually studying philosophy at the moment, so he is the teacher and I'm the student at the moment, but I've read me some philosophy every now and then, so, maybe I won't be severely outclassed. So, what is life?
I'm glad you've asked that. Well, with philosophy, right, is that as an A-level, which is what I'm doing as now, it is very enjoyable. Like, I don't know whether this is shared by the rest of my class, but it is just so, like, I'm big nerd doing 4 A-levels, right? I've got doing government politics, economics, history, and I enjoy those subjects. And I've got a lot more knowledge in them, I feel, at least to start with. I did, and they were fun, and they're good, and they're okay. But philosophy, because I feel like I didn't know as much about it, was so engaging. The kind of questions it asks, and the actual analytical philosophy of thinking about, what is perception and what is knowledge, and the different ethical theories from utilitarianism to sort of Kant, Immanuel Kant, the philosopher, and his ethics. It's very expansive, and there's so much you can cover, and it's just very engaging, I feel. What is life? Well, I'd say that depends who you ask. But if you ask me, then I'll tell you at the end of my course when I still won't know.
Nice. What's your opinion at the moment, if you have one?
So those haven't actually covered what is life. I think maybe because I want to avoid sort of, I don't know, big conflict, I guess. But if you ask sort of a theist who has a belief in God...
No, but I'm interested in you.
Okay, yeah, but this is the thing. Okay, let's look at nihilism, right?
Okay.
Well, it's pointless. There's no reason for us to be here or do anything. But I have an answer to that.
Ooh.
And that is basically art, but not art in the painting sense. Art in a very, very broad sense, in making anything. There's a lot of solace in, okay, well, you can make something, and that feels rewarding to make something. I'd like a podcast like we're doing here. That feels good, and that's like an answer to, well, nothing has any worth. Well, perhaps something has a worth in of itself. But with life more generally, I don't know what life is yet, and if I work it out, it'll be a very happy day, because I would like to cure my nihilism.
Okay, yeah, no, I hope you get over it, because at the moment, I think life is... I think I'm more of an optimistic nihilist. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Life is completely meaningless, but because it's meaningless, I feel like nothing I do really matters all that much, so I'm just gonna have fun. Enjoy everything. I'm going to have a look at everything that I have, and I'm going to be humble and enjoy it and appreciate everything that I have and have a little bit of fun with it, because at the end of the day, you're gonna die one day, so you might as well just have fun with this life, and life is precious, don't waste it.
True. But I'm not contented with that answer, though, is the trouble, is because I would like to think that there's something to be found, because I don't know, I perhaps that's because I just pursue the idea that a meaning is perhaps there, or that something can be found, because we've made like philosophical progress, I would say, over the last centuries. So there might be some type of, or some form of answer to be found. So it's definitely, I don't know, I find it exciting trying to look for one.
On the contrary, I've accepted there is no real answer.
Yeah, I had, but I couldn't live with myself if I did that, I don't think.
Okay.
That's fair enough. A lot of people come to that conclusion, and it's practical. It's practical to go, well, nothing I can do about it. So it is practical, so I see its appeal.
What's your opinion on fate?
No, we can determine what happened. Like, causality appears intuitive and logical. I do a thing, it leads to another thing. So I'm attached to that idea, and with fate, it feels like the story's already been written, which I don't really buy into. But it's a very complex subject, and often things feel like fate, and chaos theory as well is a thing you can throw in. I don't think it's the case. I think we're a lot more powerful than we realise.
I want to think that too, but I think my life is just a bunch of scripted events. Like, even if I were to use my free will, I think everything's gonna arrive to the same ending one day. Like,
but isn't that, why should you not just like lie down then and do nothing?
Because I see that, but I could also do something else with that time. So I'm gonna do something else with that time, and it's gonna have a slightly different outcome, I feel. But at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be Olivion. He's a mediocre bloke who tries to be happy and make everybody laugh, and then die one day and be forgotten. That's ultimately life for you. But, you know...
Yeah, I get that. It is, looking at it that way, I can see that. But then I like to think that, you making these decisions to record like a podcast, do things like that, can lead to things happening and people being happy, and that feels like that's something you've done that's led to those things. Because it just feels intuitive to me. Because I think if there was a set ending, then people, or at least if people knew there was a set ending, they wouldn't do much.
Okay. Yeah, I think this was definitely a lot worse when I was younger, I thought I was the only living thing on the planet, and everyone else was just an AI and just some sort of not real, you know?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Just like a scripted personality that exists in the form of a human body, and I was the only one with a free will. And some people were born evil, some people were born nice. I don't know. Now I feel like everybody exists in a manner, and you can talk with them, and everybody is complex in their own way.
Definitely. I mean, that's sort of linking a little bit to idealism. The idea that really, well, a little bit, the idea that there's not really an external world, and a bit of Descartes, I think, therefore I am. You can only know that you exist. You can't prove empirically if you can't trust your perception that anyone else exists. So then you're in a bit of a pickle there. So I see why you can think, oh well, I could see how you come to that conclusion. But I'm definitely confident that there are not inherently good and bad people, because the fact that people can change is fundamental to a lot of the things I think and hope.
So what kind of philosophical questions do you have to ask me?
Okay. Let me just have a look at this. Okay. So, do you? Okay. Well, I'll ask one. What do you think knowledge is?
Knowledge is a valuable resource that's ever expanding and can also be forgotten, I guess, one day. Let's take an example of a library of Alexandria that was burnt down, and we lost a lot of books and therefore knowledge, but they can be regained by a trial and error again. You just relearn it. I think it's not finite, but it's sort of a resource, But there's also a limit to knowledge. Maybe possibly to your time period, but I think there will never be a point where we will know everything,
That's interesting. So you think of it as like a resource that grows through a perhaps ability that increases?
Yes.
So, yeah, that's why I'm looking at it. Plato said that knowledge was justified true belief. Those are the three things you need. It needs to be justified, it needs to be true, it needs to be, and people need to believe it. So that was the way he put it. But then there are problems with that, because you've got, well, okay, if I say I see a sheep in a field, but actually it's a sheepdog and it's sort of a bit foggy, is that knowledge? Because I'm justified because I think I see it. I believe it because I believe it's true. So I believe it, and then it's true because there actually is a sheep in the field. I'm just not looking at it. It's hidden under a bush. Then it's like, okay, we don't think that's knowledge. Where some cultures might say that is. So it's a really big and broad topic, and it's just one of the things that you can cover under philosophy. But you took a different angle on it, of it being sort of valuable. And yeah, can everything ever be known? And there's two types of looks at education. One's Verstehen and one's Eclairant. Eclairant is like the idea science-y. There are facts that we can know, and we don't know them all yet. We may never know them all, perhaps. Whereas Verstehen is more about learning about people, and people specifically.
Okay. That's pretty interesting. Yes, I hope you enjoy your philosophy A-level course. I think it should definitely be a fun subject. I don't know what it leads to in particular in terms of universities, but
I think it's a type of, you can do it at university, but I think it's a skill, analytical philosophy, because what you do is standard form, where you take out the premises of what someone says, any argument. They might make an assertion like oranges are bad. You go, okay, why? And then they'll say why, and they'll give you their essay or whatever, and you'll take their premises, because it's often shrouded in rhetoric, and sort of like a rhetorical question is an example of rhetoric. You have to pick out what people are actually saying, and then the conclusion they draw. And then does it logically work, or is it like deductive reasoning? are there cases where we think their logic doesn't work? So it's more of an analytical philosophy, sort of a skill around thinking that you can apply in other subjects, I think.
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like an important life skill.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm. I've only read like a few. I don't think I've finished any major book.
Mm.
There was this one book. I'm gonna turn around in my chair and see if I have it in front of me. But it's quite an interesting book that explains why all these famous philosophers have said the quotes that they've said. Okay. The book is called This Book Will Make You Think by Elaine Stephan. And it just explains philosophical quotes, and it's kind of cool.
That does sound cool.
You know what else sounds cool?
I don't know, tell me.
Figuring out the reason why you like philosophy so much. Let's go to Backstory Bonanza.
Okay.
Great segue. I am
Yes,
so good.
My backstory might not help here, but we'll try.
What is the most important event you feel confident sharing that changed your life for better or for worse?
Okay. All right. So there are some pretty significant events in my life, right? Some medical, some not. There's a lot of different stuff, but I could pick a variety of stuff. But the one I'm gonna pick, I think, is quite nice. It's a little bit more of an optimistic one. So I remember back in sort of might be reception year 1. We were sort of looking towards careers and what jobs did you want to do type thing, and sort of asking as a general question. People gave different answers. You know, someone might want to be a fireman or a ballet dancer or whatever. Sort of generic young children things to give answers as. And the one I answered, I was quite young at this point. Remember, it's only year 1. That's first grade for you, for those American viewers. Although I'm not translating for you more generally. Color has a U in it, etc., etc. It's aluminium, not aluminum. Anyway, so and I guess to me, and I say, oh, well, I'm older. I'm going to be a superhero. And someone says, oh, that's not a real job. That's not a real job.
That's so sweet.
And thanks. And they go, well, that's not a real job. That's not real. I argue. I might have said hero or something similar, but it was superhero or hero. And I think one of the girl in my class goes, "Oh, that's not a real job." And not in a threatening way, just sort of like, "Oh, that's not a real job." And I go, "Well, yeah, it is." And we sort of have this discussion. Obviously, it's not a real job. We learned that one eventually. But I feel like, in some capacity, the rest of my life from that point can be boiled down in some way to trying to prove that person wrong, and perhaps make it a real job in a more of a metaphorical sense, right?
It's okay. I'm sure I can find some radiated spider and let the spider bite you. You know, prove her wrong.
I feel like the point of it is that it isn't like a trope. I was thinking, oh, wearing a cape would be fun. I was thinking, although wearing a cape is fun, but that's not the point. It's more the idea around it, the sort of the heroism, the greater importance of trying to do something significant and perhaps change things here or there. That I feel like I'm going some way to perhaps prove them wrong and do something significant that's almost superhero-esque. It won't be with a cape or a mask, but it'll be doing something significant, perhaps more generally for the benefit of other people and the world. I'll be a superhero in some capacity, right? And that I like the idea that that's constantly been trying to achieve that in a very vague sense.
Okay, I guess that explains why you're just nice to pretty much everyone that you meet as well. Okay.
Damn.
That's pretty interesting and wholesome, and very optimistic, kind of unlike my one. But it's fine. No. I think, being proving them wrong and saying, not in terms of being an actual superhero, but making everybody's days brighter is certainly possible.
Yeah.
my backstory is... I don't really want to say it's a sensitive topic. I'm just gonna quickly rush over it and not be too specific, I feel.
Well, okay, yeah.
But back in the day, secondary school, Olivion was the fastest evolve around, right? He was built up tall from the beginning generally, but because of his tall legs, he would use those tall legs and his rapid pace and stamina to his advantage, and he won a lot of races. In particular, of a one where everybody learnt of my speed was in year 8, 200 meters. Now I remember that because people said that, oh, somebody couldn't make it, we need a replacement. And given that I had already achieved the gold band in the PE class for athletics, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. And to everybody's surprise, I subverted everybody's expectations and came first. And I was not only not known for being Russian, but now I'm also known for being fast, which is it's a step up. It's not particularly what I want to be known for, but it's better than just being identified by where I was born.
Yeah.
And for the next 2 years, I consistently came second or third because people realised, oh, this Olivion guy is pretty fast, we kind of need to keep up our pace. So yeah, I wasn't top of the school, but I was top 3, so that was the stonks.
Yeah. I remember that. It was impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a good. That's good. It's quite. Yeah, I know what you mean. Moments like that where you sort of show yourself to be more than what they think you were. That's always good. So yeah, I remember that. It was impressive.
However, that's not where the story ends.
Oh yes.
A crisis happened earlier this year, actually, and that caused me to no longer be good at running because now I no longer have the stamina.
No. That is a shame. But I feel like I know that you are a lot more than just fast, and you know that. So
Yeah.
I think perhaps now it gives you the one positive from it is perhaps it gives you a chance to show off some of your many other talents. One of which being podcasting.
Definitely. Thank you.
But
yeah, after being hospitalized for a couple of days and being kind of terrified, if I was just 1 year younger, I would have been happy being hospitalized. It would have given me a chance of death. But I was terrified as of this year because I didn't want to die. It was scary. Thankfully, my nurses are actually well trained, and I survived. And I'm a different person. I'm a damaged person. But if I was either born a year earlier, or being myself now, but 100 years ago, I would... Yeah, no, me 100 years ago would not have survived. The technology was not nearly as good enough, I feel.
I mean, I relate in a number of ways, but I think that is better though that it was, in a sense, that it was a year later, right? Because at least the fact that you didn't want to die was gives you the fight, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. So I think that's one. If it had to happen at all, then I suppose it's better that it happened when you were against it. And you were like, no, but I do relate for numbers, and the people who are there are very good. And yeah, the technologies that we live with it's remarkable. I've seen a lot of different people and the stuff they're working on. It's like, damn.
It was also kind of scary because, this was happening in the pandemic, and especially because of my lungs being damaged, I became vulnerable.
Oh god, yeah.
So thankfully, yeah, no, the cleaning was very good as well.
Yes, no, I mean this the thing is that I was in over the pandemic season, well, I have been and will be again, but I just clean rigorously. To sort of that's the thing you can do, because even though they're like, oh, don't worry, we've cleaned it, and I was like, okay, cool, but I'm doing it as well, just out of, I don't know, perhaps neurotic, but yeah, no, it's definitely a terrifying thing, but you're here now, so that's
Yeah.
good.
So I think the moral of the story is things can happen to change your life and also change the other people's perspectives of who you are, but don't just take it for granted. Be happy while you still have it, because it can just as easily be removed.
Oh god, yeah, be grateful.
Moving on from that depressing confession, we're gonna hope that we're gonna become better people, and we're gonna wishfully think.
Okay.
As is wishful thinking. Oh god, I feel like it worked a lot better, but my phrasing just ruined the segue completely. It's fine.
Yeah.
If you had one wish, what would it be?
Okay. Now I can read this one two ways. Oh, well, kind of, right? I can just sort of give a very arbitrary, sort of strategic wish, right? Which is, you think, okay, well, what's like one of the most selfish ways you could wish something? And then this is the standard answer that I would give, and I think if people thought about it enough, the strategic one they would give, because the limited resource we have is time, right? So therefore, you would wish for immortality, and then see how far you could push that out. So, okay, for myself, right, then see could you get it for your family or your close friends, see how far you could get away with that, like with the genie clauses. And then that just gives you more time, obviously, have a health clause attached. It gives you more time to do the various things you want to do. But that's not a fun answer. So I have a fun answer, which is to... I did think about this. I was like, okay. To be the Doctor in Doctor Who for like 3 series or something like that. That would be good.
Damn.
I would like that.
That sounds very dangerous, though.
What, being the Doctor? What?
The Doctor from Doctor Who, the fights.
Yeah, not in real life. That'd be
Oh, not okay, yeah.
to be cast as, not to
Yeah, okay.
Jesus.
Sorry. Yeah, no, that does sound kind of cool. Though apparently the writing recently has been depleted.
Oh god, yeah.
But that does sound like a fun career to have at some point. If I imagine actually being the Doctor does sound kind of cool, because it's...
Oh god, yeah.
It's not filming a TV show. You are the Doctor, and you go visit all of these places.
But also, how much you would hurt so much, like the amount of pain. It's basically he lives so long that he just sees constant death. Basically, it's pretty depressing.
Yeah, no, that is sad. But I've actually thought of a pretty similar answer.
Ooh.
But before this as well, so this is coincidental. I would quite like to immerse myself physically into I think piece of media more generally, but yeah, I think a video game more specifically, and then time runs as it does in said video game. So in Minecraft, you might age a bit faster because each day is what, 5-10 minutes?
Each day is 20 minutes, including nighttime.
20 minutes. Okay. So yeah, you'd age a lot faster, but it would also be fun to be in the video game or a piece of film or something. Yeah, I don't know.
You'd also be like immortal in Minecraft, providing you aren't playing a hardcore mode.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't thought of limitations quite yet. But I think if you were to be in a video game where you can't die, that would be pretty powerful.
Yeah, you'd be limited by the video game. I think a fun one to do it in would be Stardew Valley, just because that's a nice simple life.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. It depends. It depends. There's so many ways to go with that. That is a fun answer. I do like that.
Although Stardew Valley, especially with all of the mechanics of Stardew Valley, not the farming aspects, but for example, the poontang aspects.
Yes.
I would get married in several weeks. It would be great. Like,
yeah, it'd be so much easier, right?
yeah, definitely. God, I'd even not die alone. That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, what a perk that'd be. I just have to give them gifts strategically.
They wouldn't even care, you know. You're standing outside their door until they officially open, and you give them the same gift on the same days every week. They wouldn't care.
Yeah. Abigail eats that quartz, so you know.
No, I feel like you would have to walk out of her room at that point.
Yeah, you know. I mean, that sounds unsightly. Yeah.
God damn! How does she not get internal bleeding? Like,
I don't know, but it's impressive, man.
Well, GG, I guess.
Maybe it's all the pumpkin she also eats, but balance it out.
Contrary to my addiction to Fire Emblem, I think Fire Emblem is quite possibly the worst video game to be in. Especially if you are an awful unit that dies very frequently. It sounds bad. I mean, if you were in a Fire Emblem game, you know, you were sort of there. You were either an irrelevant NPC, or you are playable, but you're a bad unit, so you get something called being benched. And what that means is you've only got a certain amount of units to deploy, and to be benched is to not be deployed for the rest of the game. Kind of tragic. Or I'm an actually good unit, but I still have a risk of dying, because good units die too sometimes. I don't know. But I think the best video game would be Stardew Valley. The worst would be, that's just generally hardcore games, I suppose. The Minecraft hardcore, ultra hardcore, even.
Yeah.
But I wonder.
Cuphead might not be great. I've heard.
Yeah, you would die in seconds.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know how bloody. I don't know.
If you've watched,
I had a game in my head, and I was trying to figure out how to put myself in that video game, but it's lost now.
I don't know. If you watch Game Theory, then Among Us would be pretty bad.
Oh yeah, no, that doesn't sound great.
Yeah, especially seeing as if like you win, but even if you win, you lose really. So it's pretty depressing.
Yep. It's still kind of sad. I mean, like even if you die, you still have tasks to do, and that's just annoying.
Yeah, that's just sort of like, well, peace in death, guess not.
Though in real life, it could be I had a train of thought, realised it was horrendously insensitive, and I'm not going to say it anymore.
Yeah, I think people can understand where you're going with that.
Yeah, no, let's not touch into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, going into your answer, if you were the Doctor from Doctor Who, it's talking in both being the actor and being the Doctor, you might have to put up with some pretty awful people.
Nah, it'd be fine.
If you're cast as the Doctor, then you might have to deal with annoying colleagues and whatever.
Maybe.
Especially if like the main companion is not a great person. I think that's the real problem.
Yeah. But I think all the people who've been cast as a companion have been nice, and that's just acting more generally, though, isn't it?
I mean, God, if I was cast as Doctor Who, I would be the happiest man. But if I found out my companion was Ollie, I would leave.
No, I'd stay. That'd be brilliant.
I'm sorry, Ollie. Ollie's probably going to watch this episode as well, but yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean? Ollie's a big fan, watches every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, but that's just not a problem with it more generally. I find. So.
Yeah, no, it's more of a general problem, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, with the profession, it's just sort of like, well, you can find annoying people, but generally the people who've been cast not to, even now when it's not so great, are just nice. So I don't know what I'd do then, but I think just being a Doctor more generally would be great. So that'd be good. Yeah, I'd enjoy that.
Okay. I don't have a clever segue. Guest Nest, please choose a topic for me.
Okay, so this week's topic on Guest Nest is going to be the United Kingdom and cups of tea. They're the same thing, not the same thing, but they are linked. So yes. I thought I would tack the other one on the end. You can start on cups of tea. I want your tea review.
Okay. As of right now, I've got 5 mugs of tea on my table. If I don't have cups of tea in, I just go downstairs, make myself a cup of tea, bring it upstairs with me, and I'm too lazy to bring them back down to wash them. So I clear them out every week, and I usually get 10 mugs on my table. Just they're there. It's kind of unhealthy, but I'm lazy, so cups of tea review. Okay. Just tea. Okay, that's pretty good. If it's just hot water and the tea bag, it's okay. It's better than water, I guess.
Yeah.
I think next I would put in tea with milk. It gives it a little bit more flavour, but not a significant amount, I feel. And then you've got tea with sugar, and that makes... I quite like putting 2 teaspoons of sugar in my tea. I think the sweetness really adds to it, and it's just a pleasure to drink. All cups of tea are a pleasure to drink, but this one especially is... I would not sort of casually drink tea with milk, or just tea. If I had to binge some tea, it would definitely be tea with sugar. But the real meme is, this is the stonks of the stonks, is tea with milk and with 2 teaspoons of sugar. That's the pinnacle of tea.
I agree. That's fair assessment. I mean, I'd say more generally that tea's great. I think your assessment's fair. I'm not even going to touch on green tea. I'm not such a fan.
Green tea is worse than black tea, but again, it's better than just water. Fruit tea is interesting. It's not something I would willingly drink. I think it's better than green tea because it's unique, but it's just a bit weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not great, is it? I mean, for me, I think I'll give my perfect tea as an example of, it's got to have milk in, obviously. Don't put the milk in first, otherwise you should be shot. And then 1 or 2 sort of tablespoons of sugar. Yeah, it's good. Sort of a sweet tea. Quite, I don't want... A lot of people say that, it's not real tea if it's not strong enough. It's like, well, no, they're wrong about that. Tea is just generally, and not American tea. The American tea is just too big.
Isn't American tea microwaved?
It's
such a problem. Kettles don't exist in America.
That's a problem.
I only found that out a month ago. What? You don't have a natural water boiler? You have to actually pour some water into your saucepan or microwave your water?
That is ridiculous. I was today years old when I learned that. So that is mad. That is mad.
That is yeah. No, I've seen a photo of or a video, I would say, of like an American saying, "Hey guys, hey British people, I made myself a cup of tea. Am I cool yet?" And it's just this really like boring shaped mug as well, and he's heated up the water first, and then he puts in the tea bag later, and it just doesn't. The tea bag doesn't dissolve into the water at all. It was so sad.
Oh no!
I could not be more disappointed. But hey,
Yeah, I've understand. They've still got centuries to learn the art. But yeah, no, it's weird. But that links into the sort of my sort of segue into that. More generally, Britishness, right?
Ooh.
Because some people are like, no, it's mad to find any affinity with sort of an island and the people on it. And you can kind of be sympathetic for that argument, but I think the distinction I'd make is that actually it's about shared experience. And it's the fact that, okay, so the thing that unifies there is that if I was to reference Wallace and Gromit in Britain, it's more likely to be recognised, right?
Yeah.
That's a sort of cultural thing. And I think that has some weight to it. Because I think that matters, and it keeps, sort of... And also a sense of a general respect and shared culture results in more social responsibility and people caring about their culture. For example, Shell in Nigeria, they don't care. It's not Dutch over there, is it? I mean, if they'd have a plant in this village of Bodo, there was a sort of spill there of I think it might have been oil or petroleum, and that caused great problems for the people who lived nearby. They didn't care. There was no connection there. Whereas if that was in sort of outside Shell headquarters in Denmark, I think it's Denmark. I'm not too sure actually. Or no, it's the Netherlands actually. Anyway, wherever, then they'd care a lot more. So I think a connection more generally, just for people and a nation, isn't as simple as some people is. I think particularly for young people, they have a sense of British identity, but they just don't want to realise it yet because it isn't cool. So, which I think is a shame because
Yeah.
but So there we are. But I think the tea drinking thing that's still sort of around, and it's one example of it.
I think I might be very biased in saying that British culture is a lot of fun once you... I assume you just have to grow up with it, unfortunately, but I mean, watching Wallace and Gromit, listening to the British football songs.
Yeah.
Cue We're on the Ball. Actually.
Yes. Yeah, great.
Nice. I hope I don't get claimed for that. That was under 3 seconds, so I don't think I will.
You're safe. You're safe.
I'm safe. A pinnacle of culture. Even though I think England did very well last year. Not last season. 2018. God damn, there's going to be a new football league in 2 years from now. Time has gone very quickly. Yeah,
World Cup will be 2022, but the Euros is meant to be this year, and it's going to be postponed. I think, the final of the Euros will be it's across Europe. It's meant to be, but the final and I think the semi-finals are going to be in London, in Wembley. So that'll be good to see how that goes.
I mean, England's football team is good, but it's almost never the best,
Yeah,
but it's still a lot of fun to support it. They're not the underdog, but they're not, very powerful.
Yeah, it's quite good though. It's quite good because I feel like it has that sort of, they play a lot of big games and can get quite far, but there's still enough of the underdog against the really good teams that you can sort of get behind them. So I think it's quite nice. And it's quite a unifying thing, and it allows you to put an England flag in your window without seeming like a racist. So I like that. Any other time of the year, you have to not do that. But I think it's good. I do. Yeah, it's good. I think it's a nice cultural thing.
It's just chanting English songs is just such a meme,
Yeah.
I mean, we listen to We're on the Ball on a daily basis anyway. But when it gets to that season, we will be putting that on rhythm every hour.
Constantly.
Yes. If we ever decide to watch football, that England might get to the finals. If we all decide to watch that together, that will just be on loop
Yeah, that would be great.
for 90 minutes.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
Oh, nice. Okay. But yeah, as I said, Wallace and Gromit. Do you watch Bake Off, actually?
Every now and then, like not religiously, like those of my friends do, but I do pop in. I watched it a lot more when it was on the BBC. I know it's on Channel 4 now, but it is quite a nice atmosphere, isn't it?
It's quite relaxing.
Yeah.
I like you. I don't watch it religiously. I know Ollie does, but it's quite a nice thing to put on. But if you're ever in the mood for some more, I don't know, more hostile cooking, you can always put on Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, and that's always a good laugh.
Oh yes, it is great. Gordon Ramsay.
Like, the Americans have completely memed Gordon Ramsay. They've memed Rick Astley as well, like for stealing our culture and our people.
Oh no, no, I think that's a positive thing. We're exporting our culture. Like it's great. Yeah, there's something to be found in it. This is quite nice. I like it.
I mean, no. I think that this is said in a lot of memes where the punchline is not all British people are posh, but I think the stereotype of all British people being posh should be just removed. All stereotypes generally, I think, should be removed.
No, I like that one though, because it means I can pretend to be more posh than I am. Because I speak quite well, so I often have that lobbied at me.
I know,
sometimes it's a bad thing, and it's annoying, but other times you can just sort of joke it around.
I was more referring to all of the chavs that we see on a daily basis. What are you doing with your life? Oh, it's fine. It's not fine.
Yeah, it is a problem that it's just sort of a generalised. But people who've been to the UK know what the UK's like. I think that's just true for any country.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, we're gonna briefly move on into some frantic thoughts. So, I'm gonna generate a random word that I quite like, and we're gonna discuss it.
Oh.
I have not found any cool words yet.
Nervous sweating.
Yes, it's fine. Okay. I don't think I can discuss this topic with anyone else, so
okay.
The word I've been given is economist, but I'm gonna generalize it that stonks, I guess.
Okay, yes.
And since I think you are the perfect person to talk to about this, because a lot of people we talk to are not right-winged, so
Yeah. Economics. I'm doing it at that level. There's basically it comes from a lot of things. So there's different economists you might have heard of, from Adam Smith to why are they all leaving my head now? Karl Marx, Friedrich Hayek, John Maynard Keynes. Those are different economists, just to meet the word. But economics is phrased as the fact that there are unlimited wants against the background of limited resources. And that is a good way to think of it. We have to decide who gets what somehow. What's the best way to do that? And I think the basic fundamental principle of a price mechanism, which is sort of, you can kind of get the idea of that, is that supply and demand, things are cheaper if they're more readily available, that sort of stuff. It's very complex, but just a really, really massively layman's it. But I think the basis falls in that there is value in the world. How do we distribute it? And that some people, if you do overtime at your job, you should be paid for that. That's sort of one of the examples of where it needs to be a good reward for work.
Yeah, definitely. I think the more important job is, the more a job should pay. I mean, a hairdresser should never earn as much as somebody that works in Parliament, for example.
Yeah, that's a controversial statement, but it has grounds, a good logical
Yeah.
grounding.
I
Does that make
think
sense?
the more you study, the higher chance of you getting a better, well-paid job.
Yeah.
And I think there's some justice in that, it's obviously regrettable that not everybody receives the same education.
Yes.
But the people that waste their time having good education do not deserve to have well-paying jobs, I feel.
Yeah, I think basically there needs to be, even if Friedrich Hayek, the famous free marketeer, said that there needed to be a safety net. Obviously, everyone deserves to be fair. There's those basic human rights that everyone has. But not to get to the philosophical side of that, whether or not that's true. But there are arguments, and that safety net is important. But with education, we should strive to have equality of opportunity as much as we can to make sure that everyone does have a good chance at an education and all these different things, to try and make that fair. But from that point of equality of opportunity, it's down to you. It's down to your hard work. How far can you get? You should always, there should be provisions so that you can always be well fed, roof over your head, and that sort of thing. That should needs to be, of course, human rights. But when it's sort of the luxuries of life and even sort of improving your life, you have the autonomy to have your hard work translate into material things and the world, and that there needs to be a fair way of doing that, because there's only so much in the world. So the harder you work and the better you earn it, and creating a fair system under which people can earn stuff is important, I think, to me.
Yeah. I used to be left-winged, and that was a dark period in my life. I don't know what I was thinking. I think there were some solid points, but I don't remember what they were. I think there was sort of this pressure to be left-winged because everybody said, "Oh God, the money's bad. No, why do we need money? God, the world would be so much better without money." And I had a few opinions why, but I did not have the evidence to support that, so I just kind of went along the flow. And then I realised, hold on, not only does money make things fair and balanced, but it's also a very interesting and almost flawless concept,
Yeah, I get it, because basically we used to have barter, which is where I'll give you 2 chickens for, or perhaps like several cows for a house. But that has issues. It's not divisible. It doesn't work practically. And it used to be on a £5 note. It says, "I will promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £5." It used to be £5 of gold. And what you'd do is you put value in gold. And you'd go to the bank and you'd ask them to look after your gold, and you'd have a receipt, so you knew that was your gold. And then you go to buy a horse, and instead of them going, "Oh, I'll go and get my gold and give it to you," but then they've only got to go and put it back in the bank themselves. So you just give them your receipt, and that's how money was born.
Yeah.
And it's a necessary interpretation of value, and that matters because value exists, and so we need a fair way of equating it. And you also had a point about the pressure to be sort of left wing, and that it's awful. It's so bad, and if you're if you're right out there, then it gets better, because people do. I think be nuanced, be open-minded, but don't change your opinion. Be ready to change your mind all of the time, but don't just do it for the sake of social convenience. Do it because your mind's actually been changed. Be open, and be respectful, and have decorum, and think about think really openly, because the pressure, especially among young people, is a massive problem that's just not being dealt with, and it's facilitated by education. And it's not, and basically it means that if you are left wing, I think this is an important thing to note. You're making by perhaps being a bit uncivil, you can make a lot of people feel not very good about themselves if there's not a free space for ideas and thought, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, that was very well put. I think especially in our debate society that we go to, being closed-minded is especially a problem. I don't think I've ever changed my mind from before and after we have a debate, but I certainly take take in the point, and maybe I'm slightly less towards the side I started on, but I think that I've read a lot of things from the members of Debate Society that's like, oh, all of these people are pretentious and they have rights. They are privileged. It's like, no, please stop.
Yeah, such a problem. It's such a problem. Trouble is, Debate Society isn't what it should be. In that, I like to think of it like this: you've got discussion, debate, and argument. Discussion is relaxed, calm, and no one's really attached to what they're saying massively, but it doesn't have enough direction to get anywhere, make any progress. Argument has loads of direction, but people are attached to what they're saying. It's personalised. People are angry and they're emotional, so you don't get anywhere there either. Debate is the beautiful middle ground where you have the relaxed, respectful, calm nature of discussion, but the direction and passion of argument, and then that's where you can really make progress. And I feel like Debate Society, because it tries to be sort of political and have a high membership, falls too close to argument. As opposed to being the beautiful thing that debate can be, and it's a very useful tool for discovering things.
Yeah, no, that was well put.
Thank you.
So, we're coming into a close, but we've got one more thing. I've got a random question for you. A Spanish Inquisition. I think you're the only person on this show to ever get that reference, but beautiful. Yeah, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. You're gonna have a random question. That random question is linking back to your backstory bonanza. If you're an actor, what kind of roles do you think you would be good at?
Oh, I love that question. That's amazing. Okay, I'm glad you've asked that. So, I like the idea that. So, I mean, I used to do drama. And I'd like to be able to still do it now. But I've played Macbeth, really enjoyed that. So being a classical hero, fine, that's all right. Being a bit of a ruined hero, sort of perhaps, David Tennant's character and the detective in Broadchurch, that sort of thing. That's also a lot of fun. But I do enjoy being a good villain. Being a good villain's like,
yeah.
It's just fun. And I used to enjoy any role, but a villain in particular, it's like, oh, it's so cathartic.
I mean, nothing sounds more fun than just swiveling around in your swirly chair with a cat on your lap, stroking it and say, "Mwah, ha, ha, ha. I've been expecting you, James Bond." That does sound like a lot of fun.
It does.
Hold on.
Go on.
Where's my... No, please work. Hello. Oh no, I haven't linked it up to... I do have a voice changer, but I haven't linked it up to my OBS, but I could try and do that now, while I'm recording. That does sound like a very bad idea, but I swear, it's gonna be worth a joke.
Okay.
Microphone, change it to voice mod, virtual audio device. Okay, apply.
Some behind the scenes stuff going on here.
Yes. Right, now it should be... I've been expecting you, James Bond. For I am the greatest villain of all time. The Anti-Stonks. You know, it's a lot of fun.
That is genuinely terrifying. I don't know about you, listener, but I was also scared there. I mean, I like the idea of a pantomime villain, because that's fun. But what's also fun, at the same time as the very pantomime stuff, is equally just to be quite a normal villain. Because being sort of a damaged person, trying to understand people. This is why I think acting is important. This is quite an interesting philosophical note to end it on. Is that I would enjoy playing perhaps a more ruined, sort of generic villain who does some sort of horrible things, but you sort of understand why. Is that acting is basically the practice of empathy at its best. It's not just people dancing around on a stage for money. It can seem quite silly, people get paid for that. But it is to understand someone, fictional or non-fictional, and understand them as a person. I think that's a very important thing that we need.
Yeah, no, that's very nice. As a niche pseudo voice actor, I think getting into roles is a lot of fun. Company that almost hired me, if you're watching this, that wasn't very nice of you for saying, yeah, no, that was a nice application, and then never email me back. That was very tragic.
Oof.
Please don't do that again.
Shamed being a Trojan. Yeah.
God, like, it was an anime, so I would have lost so much respect from people like Jim, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I was gonna have I was gonna become an official voice actor, and then I am still trying, although I feel like I'm gonna have a lot less time with college work and whatever.
Yeah. I think.
But I think if I'm just hired for commission, if you were watching this, if you want to hire a voice actor, I just voiced like 20 different characters with my friend recently. I can't show you the footage because I wasn't recording it, but I can voice act 20 different people.
I would also like money, so if anyone wants to do
Yes.
that.
Voice acting in particular, I think, is fun. I don't know. You don't have to physically show your face or act, as long as you provide your voice in a sort of a vocal range. You can do a lot with it, and I think there's a beauty in that.
Oh yeah, completely. Voice acting is its own thing, and it has a lot of similar stuff with actual acting. It is, more generally, it's the practice of empathy, and you are particularly good at voice acting, from what I've gleaned, from what I can tell. So yeah, it is. It's a fun thing. It's a fun thing.
Did I ever send you my Natsuki application?
You did not.
Okay, I was gonna apply for a Doki Doki Literature Club mod, and they were gonna have some voice acting, and they were running. Well, they couldn't find anyone, so the applications opened up to males, and I applied for Natsuki, and I don't think I got the job, but I think the application was a lot of fun to try and record. It took me a solid hour to try and figure out the exact voice and the tone I wanted to use and the pacing and whatever, but that was part of the fun, I feel.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you increased your chances by picking, the worst DDLC.
God damn! I knew you would say that. Okay. We're not gonna get into this because I've been recording for an hour and a bit.
I mean, you're a best girl, but we won't get into it. It's fine. Anyway, moving on.
So coming back to the question, what kind of roles I would like to play? The villain, I agree, is probably very fun, but something about the comic relief character just sounds like a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, comic relief, comedy is just so enjoyable, isn't it? So yeah.
Something about being the main protagonist doesn't sound that appealing, because not only is it a lot of work, but most of the time they're very bland. I want to do good stuff and be the hero.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not saying like ruined heroes are quite good, because they've got more depth. So yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Comic relief is a lot of fun. Heroes and villains, but they're I think acting much. Sometimes I think that basically, who would I like to act as a role? Just an interesting person. That's my fundamental answer. As long as they've got depth to them.
Yeah, definitely. So to round this up to 1 minute and 1 hour and 15 minutes. This is such a problem.
I am speed.
I don't know. Lay out your reasoning for Yuri.
Okay. I wasn't expecting to have to do that. All right. So Yuri, good with knives. Nice hair. But more technically, just talk the depth of the character and the sort of emotional levels of understanding. Sort of being a bit more reserved, a bit quieter. which is something I can relate to. The sort of the more gentle, introverted kind of nature, and also generally being quite sort of literary is something I appreciate in a human being. So that's why. And if you question it, you're objectively wrong. So there we are.
Well, I am going to question it. So, okay, Yuri is. So I'm not going to spoil Act 2. Please go play Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah.
But Act 2 Yuri is what made me hate her so much, I feel. I think I was on the Yuri train throughout Act 1, and then Natsuki slowly became more rational, I feel. And I think Natsuki has even more depth than Yuri, because Natsuki's problems aren't explicitly told. You've got to figure out what's actually going on with her and why she is broken. And honestly, I'm not going to spoil it, but for the people that have played the game, I really relate to Natsuki's problem the most. Not the malnourishment, but the other major thing that's happened.
And that's understandable, sort of a personal relation. So subjectively you're right, but objectively you're wrong.
Okay. But also, anime. A girlfriend that reads manga and watches anime and plays video games, isn't that the coolest thing? No, because you don't watch anime. Never mind. If Ollie was here, he would approve.
Ollie's gone now, and I'm here, and I'm not a weeb.
Okay.
Fool.
Damn. Okay. Well, I respect Yuri. I respect Yuri more than Sayori. I think Sayori as a.
Yeah, I have very little time for Sayori fan.
I don't know I can't call Sayori one-dimensional.
Well, but that's what.
But I think Sayori is two-dimensional. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
one of her dimensions is being selfless, which I am. But I think Sayori does a good job of it, actually. Okay, I don't despise Sayori, but the other three very good girls in Doki Doki are good. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, as we all know, I'm selfish and evil, so I could not relate with Sayori. But I mean, I think every decision is understandable to a point until it becomes objectively wrong, which is picking on the other girls. So there you go. But yeah, no, cool. That's interesting.
Okay. Yeah. No. We went slightly over.
We did.
15 minutes. It's fine.
Fine. It's the intellectual episode. Of course, it's going to be long.
Except that last part when we were talking about fictional girls, but that's okay. That's fine.
That is just sort of facts, so that's fine.
You know what's not a fact? How Yuri came third in the official Team Solvato poll, but it's fine.
People get things wrong, don't they?
Oh no. But yeah, that's where we're gonna end it off now.
So
thank you very much, Legendary Topaz, for joining me today.
You're very welcome, Olivion.
And it's been a pleasure to have you on. Have you got any last words?
I do. Top meme and farewell.
Top meme and farewell. I agree. So, that has been Olivion Off Topic, episode number 5. I can count to 5, it's fine.
Nice.
And I will see you all next week for another episode of Off Topic. And
subscribe to Topaz.
Go subscribe to Legendary Topaz. Actually, you might see another episode before this that's not an Off Topic video, because I'm on half-term at the moment. But yeah, no. Meme.
Farewell.
Okay. May your stonks be well. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye!